We did a lot of planning, just wanted to have a great time out here with music and get Greg to come out here and play for us. And he'll stay for a while afterwards and play as well. And thank Chris for coming out and Mark Finichel from the radio station as well. Anyway, so we've had a good time putting this all together and just want to thank everyone for showing up and hope you all had as good a time here by the end of the day as we do. So without any further ado, we've got our own local rock star, DJ, and just all-around fun person, Greg Kinn. Take it away.
All-around bon vivant. Should I sit or you know? I thought here's the way I saw it. Okay, we start by sitting, and then about halfway through he stands up. It's like, oh my God, did you see the special effects when he stood up? It was uplifting. So I'm gonna start. You can tell I'm a professional announcer, can't you? I am a professional radio announcer. So you can take everything I say to the bank. So I'm going to start by sitting. It's a good thing I got that right. I'll start by sitting, and then I'll stand up, and it'll be real exciting, okay? So here goes. We're going to sit down now. I feel like Andy Kaufman. It's like a bit on Saturday Night Live. Remember that when he did Mighty Mouse? Here I come to save the day. I remember that. You know, no matter how weird and esoteric I get, there's always somebody that remembers it. Remember Winky Dink? I remember that. You gotta be as old as dirt. You gotta be as old as me to remember Winky Dink. How about Davy Crockett? How many people here had a Davy Crockett coonskin cap? Am I the only one? Don't give me that. Yes, I remember him. I knew Davy Crockett personally. Yeah.
So did your king.
Tell me when it's loud enough. We got all day, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Great, Jay.
Is it louder if I play in this key? Is that better? Wait. Are these all turned up to the right amounts of things?
We could
I'm not even. Well, I guess it doesn't matter now, does it?
We could take care of that.
Well, it might be cool. We could double your pleasure and double your fun with double the guitar leads, right? Anything but playing that first song. Boy, he beat around the bush. Edna, did you see that? 20 minutes he beat around the bush. Good stuff. That's nice. Okay, all right. That's a little shrill. So far, this is a riveting performance, isn't it? That's not a pretty sound, is it? Go about half mast on this stuff. We planned for months on this. Should I tell a story while we're doing this? I want to tell you the story of the magic mirror of Winterland. Does anybody remember Winterland?
Oh, yeah.
It was a wonderful place. Bill Graham had shows there that were too big for the Fillmore, and then it was about, I think, 5,500, something, 6,000 maybe capacity. I saw everybody there. I saw the Stones there. I saw everybody. And we were, the first big gig that the Greg Kinn Band ever played was at Winterland. And Bill Graham used to like me. He thought I was, because I'd show up one time. I think I was the only guy that ever showed up one time. My mother sent Bill Graham a letter saying, please hire my son. and Bill Graham told me, he said, man, in all my years at showbiz, nobody's mother has ever said, give my son a chance. So he gave me the gig. And somebody else had it was Cheap Trick. And they couldn't make the gig. So Robin Zander had laryngitis, so they called the Greg Kinn Band. And of course, he calls me like 2 in the afternoon. Could you be over here at 5? I was there before he hung up. That's how hungry we were for the gig. I didn't even know who we were opening for that night. All I knew was that Bill Graham wants us to open a gig at Winterland. Oh, yes! Well, when we got there, we found out it was Black Sabbath. And they hated us. And they gave us the finger and they threw shit at us. It was horrible. My God, it was the longest show I've ever... It was only a 20-minute set. But it was hours. People were lighting candles and chanting, satanic things. It was really creepy. Ugh. And I come off the stage and I go, Bill, what? Why did you have us opening for Sabbath, man? He goes, I just want to see if you can handle it. And I go, well, he says, well, you're still standing, aren't you? So I guess in the end, it was okay. Years later, we became a staple of Winterland. We opened for we were like America's opening band. We opened for everybody at Winterland. I used to love it. And we played Winterland a whole bunch of times in the following years. Till the day they closed it. I think it was New Year's Eve, 1983. I could be wrong on that. But they closed it. The night that they closed, it was the Grateful Dead, and they played for 17 hours straight.
I can believe that.
And people were having hallucinations and seeing God and everything. And it must have been pretty weird about the 16th hour. But the night before, and there's a DVD, you can buy it, it's out, it's the Grateful Dead at the closing night of Winterland. The night before, we played. We opened for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers the night before they closed Winterland. And all that night, everybody was, because you could tell that this place had a date with the Wrecking Ball. It was not going to, there was no nice end to Winterland. It was going to get torn down. They're going to make condos. And that whole night, I remember how weird it was because everybody kept looking around, And then they got souvenir fever. And people were unbolting. Remember the seats at Winterland? They were like the seats at Yankee Stadium. And people were unbolting whole rows of seats and carrying it out right under Bill Graham's nose, and he didn't care. It was like, take whatever you want. So I'm backstage after we played, and I'm sitting there having a beer with Steve Wright, and Steve goes, well, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like fixing my hair, and he goes, just think of all the people that are primped in that mirror. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the Stones, Brian Jones, John Lennon, they're in that mirror. They sat here, just where you're sitting right now, and they gave that mirror their best face. The backstage mirror in the main dressing room at Winterland. And I said, damn, you're right, I gotta have it. So we got a couple of Phillips head screwdrivers, and me and my roadies are in there, and we're trying to act like no, oh, we're not doing anything, we're just removing this mirror guy right here. When we got it, and then you had to pry it off because it had 30 layers of paint on it. This mirror had been there forever, and we stole it. And then we got them in. Everybody's sitting around afterwards going, wow, you got the best souvenir in the place. Can you imagine that? You're sitting around at the house. Hey, you like that mirror? Jimi Hendrix is in that mirror. Anyway, so Steve goes, well, what are we going to do now? And I go, well, I'm taking it home. I'm taking it home. Let's do it now before I chicken out. So I went down and I had an underground garage, and I had an Alfa Romeo. And we set the mirror in the seat like this here. And I put the little seat belt around him like it was a person. I was real gentle. I had a pillow behind it and everything. And I put that Alfa in reverse. I went 3 feet, and that mirror shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. And it was 7 years bad luck. 7 years. I was picking glass shards out of that Alfa forever. In fact, when I saw it the last time, I was still picking glass shards out of my ass. And that's the story. And you know what? Here's the deal is that the magic of the mirror was that all those rock stars were locked. Their reflections were locked in there. And they didn't want to go to my house. To them, they were getting, that was like getting marked down. We're going, where? But I figured that the Wrecking Ball's coming in a week or two. We got, so that mirror, I'll tell you, I learned a lot of lessons. And ever since that day, I've been real careful around mirrors.